Okay, one of the first rituals that you learn when you go to school is attendance. You'll remember the teacher will call out your name. Johnny Revelle? Here. Let's see, who else? Gary Patterson. Here. Ken McLean? Here. All right. If we get fancy as we get the ritual going, we'll say, present, or whisper, which also gets attention. Roll call, huh? A key, there you go, foreigner. Show off. That being called by name and being recognized as being here is one of the most important rituals that we've got, because the teacher is signaling to their student, I see you. I know you're here. I want to be in relationship with you. You and your learning matter to me. Word? Word. All right. Teachers among us can testify. Being called by name is important. We can also see the power of roll calling amongst our elected officials when votes of impeachment or the presidential commission, the names, again. Senator Cornyn of Texas, aye. And they go down the roll. And we get to identify their place, their opinion, their judgment with their name. And we hold them accountable because we see them. Calling by name and being known by name is one of the fundamentals of human dignity and identity. Today, we will be naming Maddie. She's been Maddie since she was born. It's on her birth certificate. But in baptism, we're registering her name in the parish register, which is a little replica of the Book of Life. Her name matters. We see her. Christ sees her. God sees her. Names matter in every stage of our life. On this Feast of All Saints, we say their names. The names that we have loved and lost this year, the names that we have known throughout our lives who have made impressions on us. Darcy Cassavant, Carvel Glenn. I can't name them all. You know their names. God knows their names. In this season where death is overwhelming and the scale is more than we can bear or breathe, 9,000 Palestinians, 1,400 Israelis, countless Ukrainians and Russians. It is tempting to think in hordes, in aggregates, as statistics. But it's also important to know that their names are called. I came upon an essay by a former Army chaplain's assistant, and I came to realize that when you are in theater in battle and one of your number dies, the ritual is to do a roll call. So the names will be called out, but not the person's name at first. It would be David Kelly, and you would say, "Here, First Sergeant." And then we'd name out Bruce Farrar, and he'd say, "Here, First Sergeant." And then the First Sergeant calls out the name of the one who had died, and there is silence. Again, the First Sergeant will call out the name of the one who has died. Again, there is silence. A third time, the name is called of the one who has died. And again, there is silence. Each of us matters. Our name matters. Our memory matters. Today, we come and culminate a little Triduum. A Triduum is 3 days, and normally we would think about that tied to Easter, as we think about Good Friday and Saturday and Sunday morning. But there's a Triduum in the fall that Christians completely appropriated from the Celts and from the Mesoamericans. And this is the feasts and the observance of All Hallows Eve, All Saints' Day, and then All Souls' Day. On Halloween, we know that we're dressing up and playing tricks and getting treats. It was an observance on an annual basis of the spirits of the dead coming free and roaming. Some of those spirits would be peaceful spirits, some of them would be tricksters, some of them would be downright scary. This was in preparation for All Saints' Day, where we were naming those people who maintained their faith, whose names we may not know, as the writer to the Revelation of John in that vision. There were scores of people whose names were not known, but they had washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. What an image. But I gotta say, watching the news and listening to it, there's a lot of blood flowing. It's not very sanctified. It's really painful. But they're remembered and they're restored. The image in Revelation, and indeed throughout the New Testament, is one of fulfillment and fulfillment of purpose. We may not know every saint's name, but we know the impact that their faith had because we are here. And we don't have to be great. We just have to keep the faith. That kind of feels good. Tech giants I feel bad for because they think they've got to change the world. I think we just need to hold on and keep the faith. Finally, on All Souls' Day, because many of us don't think we're grand like saints, we just remember the souls that have touched us, who have formed our souls, and we name our dead. One of the powerful witnesses, I think, that has come into our country since the death of George Floyd was the power of the slogan, "Say her name, say his name." We are not mere statistics. We are not nameless people. We mattered to somebody. And so, as I conclude this sermon, I would just invite you in your place, silently or aloud, to say their name. Say the name of the one who's on your heart today. Say the name of one who has touched you and informed you. Say the name of one who matters.
Stafford Campbell.
Toni Morrison.
Patrick Todd.
May their souls and the souls of all the departed rest in peace. Amen.